Good morning. It's Erica of AriBo Arts, and we're here for Battmaking with AriBo Arts. Still got the phone in the weird contraption. Hopefully I'll be getting a new battery today. So we're going to be making a bat today that's blues. You can sort of see over here. A touch of green. I'm starting with some light blue Cordell. I've got some bamboo in this sort of teal color. Just a tiny bit of brighter blue. And then in Tussa Silk, I have these two colors. And I think that's what we're going to do. I don't think I'm going to add in anything else. But we'll see as I go. But my Sebastian is rather dirty. So I'm going to start by cleaning him. So I'm going to try and tilt you down. Hopefully, I can't tilt you over because of the gooseneck. But I can hopefully at least let you see what I'm doing. There we go. Hopefully you will not pitch forward. Okay, so Sebastian, you can't really see. I mean, you can sort of see it over here. Sebastian's a bit dirty, so I'm using my hairbrush cleaner. Last bat I made, I haven't made bats in a couple of days, was the Life of the Showgirl bat, which had this, had some Cordell like I'm doing here, just in pink. But also had this Romney Cordell that was very sort of fluffy. It was very much farm-made roving. So I ended up with like little bits of it everywhere. And since I don't really want pink in the bat I'm making today, we are going through and cleaning it. And then you always want to clean the stuff off the brush cleaner so that more will take up. That was a very big bat. That was like over 3 ounces. So I started getting transfer onto the liquor in from the main drum. Okay. Now the turn ratio, I think it's 4 turns to make the liquor in go around. So we're just going to keep working on the liquor in for a little bit. Make sure we get all of it off. Oopsie, and there's a little bit. Which is leading, the way that sort of flew up is making me think I also need to check underneath. If you've got a drum carder, stuff I got off there. If you've got a drum carder, you should remember, depending on how often you use it, mine just sort of, Sebastian just lives here. So if you're like pulling out your drum carder to use it and then putting it away, you don't have to worry about this, because you will, when you lift it up, see where the debris, so on Sebastian, from about midway through the, well, 2/3 of the way, maybe a quarter, maybe it's only a quarter, the quarter edge of the liquor in, and then all of this is open to the surface below, which means stuff falls down. And so for that, I use the cleaner again. And the base for Sebastian, actually, that's one of the reasons I like Sebastian so much, he's a classic carter, standard. His feet go flat, and then there's sort of a cutout, and then flat again. So I can slide this in. I could also go from this end, but it's a longer reach. I can also look down and see that, yes, there is fuzz. Oh, I also have, hang on, let me move this out. I have so we have that debris. Where's the bag I had? I had a bag. So I'll try it over here. Okay. So this is, well, this was just something that slid underneath that needs to go in my pile over here. And so then I'm just going to hold this under here. Look again. And then just sort of pull in. I already got the worst of it out, but sometimes if I'm dealing with locks, I'll find random locks down there, and so forth. Okay, we'll put that over there. That is now clean, and now we can start. Okay. Oh, yeah. My to-do list is quite long. I leave Friday morning for a show in Minnesota. This is about 2 ounces, by the way. And, you know, I got my list of stuff I'd like to get done. I got stuff that I dyed in the dye lab that I was supposed to go over Monday and wash, and I got doing other things, and I was like, it's not enough, because when I was going to go over and wash, I also was going to use the time while everything was in the washing machine to twist some fringe on that burnt sienna weaving that I did, and also start a rug, because I'm up on a rug loom at my guild. And they liked us to sort of like zip along and like, you know, don't dawdle. And so I was supposed to start this weekend, didn't get to it because I didn't have the yarn I was going to use. Yarn is now in the car. I didn't go Monday, so I was going to go yesterday, and I just woke up and I was just so exhausted. I was so tired that essentially I just slept yesterday. That was pretty much, I did a little bit of knitting, but I pretty much just slept. So the list of things that we'll get done before I leave for Minnesota is smaller. I'm going to go over today and let's put that there. Let's find the bright blue. So I think the bright blue, I may not use every layer since I just have this small amount left. But I could also just divide it like this. But the other thing I need to do today is, because it's the down near where my guild is, stop by one of those cell phone repair places and see if they can put a new battery in the phone. That is what I am hoping. Okay, so this is the Tessa silk. Just double checking. Yes. And then some green for a nice little contrast. Now, the green didn't dye all the way through. I got this from another vendor. So you can still see sort of that honey brown, light brown, beige Tessa. Okay. I'm thinking maybe it needs something else. Let's see what this is. This is light blue turquoise sari silk, because you know I love sari silk. I just feel like it's very, everything's looking very flat to me. I think that's going to help. But now I have to pin it down so it doesn't blow away from the ceiling fan. I think I could, oh yeah, that helps a lot. It gives it more depth. Anyways, yeah, I could turn the ceiling fan off because, you know, it is only going to be in the 60s today, but I like ceiling fans. I like the breeze. But anyways, I'm going to stop on my way to the guild and see if they will put a new battery in the phone, because it is having to live plugged in right now, and that's not sustainable, particularly with a show coming up this weekend. Though I do have electricity in my booth. We double checked. I may not put my lights up because the move-in time is not quite as long. I mean, I could make that work, but the move-out time is only 2 hours. And if I put the lights up, it can take me 2.5 to move out. And so I may chat with the organizer to find out, like, how, like, is this the type of show where, because there are some shows where if you're not out by whatever, you know, whatever hours they say, you have 2 hours of, you know, they say we end at 4, you have to be out by 6. There are some places that will charge you like $50 an hour or a half hour for additional time. So I need to find out, is it like that, or is it like, you know, is it just be close, like try and get out like as close as you can? I haven't been to the show before. I think there are a couple waffle vendors there. Like Mode Knits Yarns, if I can stay with her, up in St. Paul. But I think there's a lot of localish farms who tend not to have the very elaborate setups. Like Modness is like she's one of those people that's got the shelving on wheels that she just wheels out of her trailer and all that. But a lot of the farms are like, come in, put up a table, maybe put a tablecloth on, lay your fleeces out, and you're ready to go. Where I have to put up walls, I have to hang lights, I have to put the garment racks together, I have to put the clothing on the garment racks, I have to hang the jewelry. I think one of the things I'm going to do is not put as much jewelry out, because it's time consuming to put out and time consuming to put away. So I may go minimal on that. And I have come up with little tricks over the time to sort of help consolidate, particularly for those short 2-hour move-outs. Help consolidate, because you're not supposed to break down before the end of the show, right? So the show ends at, say, at 4. What I will do at 3:30 is go to my hand spun, because my hand spun, most of it is hung as long hanks. And so I will take each hank and retwist it and hang it back up. So you still can buy it, you can still see it, but I don't have to do that twisting, because you got to twist, otherwise it's a tangled mess when you store it. I don't have to do the twisting. I will go through and take any jewelry I have displayed on the mannequins and put it back with the rest of the jewelry. I will actually take the mannequin. I have these half mannequins that hang sort of on hooks, either at the end of the garment racks or on my walls, and I will disrobe those, take the clothes off them, put them back in the hanger, put those clothes back in the appropriate rack where they go, because I divide everything up by the type of clothing, and usually I stash the mannequins in the dressing room, and if somebody wants to come try something else on, I just move them, right? So I do little things like that. Clean up the area underneath my checkout counter, so that things are sort of consolidated, if things need to go back in my purse, that kind of stuff. And this is only a one-day show, so I've been doing mostly multi-day shows. I do like that bright blue one there. So it'll be odd going back to a one-day show. Which is, let's see, I've coming up, I've got this one, I've got one at the end of the month, not including waffle shows, which of course are one-day shows, right? For me anyways. They're 3-day shows. My participation in them is only one day, though I'm often admin. Yeah, that light blue is very pale. Very, very pale. Okay, grab a little more of this. I can see coming up, I don't think you see it, there's a red bit. I just want to make sure that doesn't end up in the back. Oh, this is good. It's got a streak of green in it. So, and then do I have any other one day? That might be the last. This might be the last one day, because I think my show's in November, other than the waffle sale, which they have not sent out acceptances yet, but I'm hoping I'll get in. All of my shows, I'm doing a retreat, that's 3 days, and then the other 2 shows are 2 days, so. Yeah, and I applied to an art festival in December, It's a holiday art festival. I got in 2 years ago. Was waitlisted last year. Was waitlisted this year. I know one of the other people in my media, which is Fiverr, pulled out, but I did not get asked in. So I think what I'm going to do in December is work on the website so that it is ready to go when I come back from my January vacation. I always vacation in January because there aren't any shows then. Though actually somebody started one in I think it's Wisconsin. And I didn't hear about it till I already had plans. But I'm like, let me know next year, or move it to February, which would be perfect. Upper Midwest, it's hard in winter, right? Because you don't know what the weather's going to do. But yeah, so my plan in December is work on the website so that when I come back from vacation, I can essentially have it all set up and just turn it on. Because it seems silly to work on the website, turn it on, and then have to turn it off because I'm away for 3 weeks. Because I can't fulfill any orders when I'm abroad. So this will be my second attempt at a cruise. Hopefully it will go better than the first one. Because that's why I'm doing the second cruise. Because the first one, there were issues, so they gave us a credit so that I could. Which is how I'm going on the second cruise. I do like having a little bit of that green in there for some contrast. Or complement, I guess. It's not really that much of a contrast. But okay, just make sure. That's that. Sorry, silk. Just checking for red. In other exciting news, they are making progress on the bridge next to me. They are. Okay, so I think we'll just divide this. That's what I got left. I'm just going to divide it in two. So they were end of November is the completion date, and they might make that. They it was a big deal. Last month, they drove the I-beams in. They didn't do it on my side. They did it on the other side of the river. But essentially, what they did was they did the main sort of street into town, and then it get that main street sort of turns. You either go Main Street is sort of north south, and then it bisects this east-west road that becomes the main road. And so what they would, from what I gather, what they did was they drove through that north-south intersection, and then and then backed up to turn on the east-west road, and then back down the 4 blocks to the river, and then down the dirt embankment they made, and then lined up so that the giant cranes could lift the I-beams into place. I think there was 4 or 5 sections of them. And there were 9 across, and so since then, they've been adding the various layers that go into making a bridge, and the various, it's called the decking or what. And so I've been watching that. Some days are noisier than others. And I'm not sure if I'm prepared yet for there to be traffic outside my front door again. because outside my front door is the construction site. It's the half block before the river. In fact, last night, Heloise was down there sitting in front of the street door, which is a big wood frame glass door, looking through the chain link fence that's on, you open the door, there's the sidewalk, and then there's the chain link fence, and then there's the construction site, which currently has like various, like, not shipping containers, they're smaller than shipping containers, but that type of stuff, where they're storing materials. But it appears that the rabbits like that area. And so they come in, because there's, nobody's been maintaining the stuff, in terms of, the city usually does a good job, but there's like grass growing through parts of the sidewalk and the road and stuff like that. And so the rabbits go in there, and of course Heloise is like, kitty TV, I'm watching the rabbits, which only of course come out at night. I think occasionally she goes down, also because the wind blows leaves around, and it's fall in Iowa, so it is windy. But having to deal with semi-traffic again, because that is the main road through. A lot of semis though, hopefully, so the detour route is what they call the Cedar Parkway. And they had originally, when that was originally built, it was meant to be a bypass so that people coming in for Route 3 could not have to go through that center intersection where the north, south, east, west road met, but could take this corner off and we wouldn't have all of these semis downtown. It's 25 miles an hour and all that. Now that doesn't always work because we have a Nestle's factory sort of right. It's on the edge of town, but it's if there wasn't the water building right outside my living room windows, I could see the Nestle's factory. In fact, if I look just right, I can see the Nestle's factory. And so their trucks come through no matter what, depending on which direction they're headed. We're going to try and get after this one more layer. Let's see what we got here. Making sure there's no red. Sometimes you get surprised. There's like a little bit red or something like that buried in it. Okay. Last layer. But it will mean I can park out front for when I have to load stuff up for shows. But I think I'm going to have to get there very early. I don't know I can't get the sense of if there's a few employees in a few of the businesses in my block that I know the owners know, like, you don't park, well, actually, no, it's not necessarily, because I've seen some of, like, the branded vehicles. But if there's only 3 parking spots on that half block, the employees and the owners shouldn't be parking there. They should be open for your customers. Like those of us who live there and have to like use the space to load our vans. Okay, I'll press this down a little. It's feeling very full. Okay, let's get the last layer on. So sometimes I have to get up like at 6. Sometimes that's when I get up anyways. But throw a coat over my pajamas, go out and move my van. Because I know later I'm not ready to move stuff into the van. Because it's dark at 6 a.m. now. I'd like to when it wasn't dark then. So I would, move the van so I can load and unload and all that kind of stuff. Because having to walk out to the parking lot, which is across the street and down the block, can be a pain if you're hauling, big bags and boxes and stuff. So, okay, I think I'm done with that color. Let's add this color. Save just the tiniest little bit for something else. Unless I need more as I'm doing this. I might. Sometimes I'm a little more heavy-handed on this last layer. I'm going to press this in. Because this is the layer you see when I fluff it, right? And so if I've only got a couple of streaks and then I fluff it, those streaks become really far apart. I'm always watching this end to make sure I don't catch it on the liquor end. There we go. Okay, do the blue silk. Green silk. If somebody has a name suggestion, please pop it in the comments. Okay, and then the sari silk. Big streak of blue in there. And some more. Oh, there's red there. You could also just, so there's the red. You can also just pull that out. These are essentially threads, right? And I'm just, because I don't do a lot with red, I'm just going to put it in my little spare fiber bag, which is very full. And I think I'm going to get a little more. Because once again, this will spread out. So, end of something. Let's see if there's any reds. I don't think so. There's a blob of white there, though. That is just like a little piece of fabric. Let's put it down there with a knot in it. Usually it's a knot that gets caught. Okay, this bit also is a bit of a knot. Sometimes you can just you clearly see it's threads, right? So this you can just sort of pull out like that. Press it down. And we're done. Okay, put this over here. I don't know if I'll make I don't have any more of that Aegean blue, so I won't make another one of these. I do have at least one more thing of this light blue. But okay, so we're going to break the bat. Use the Doffer stick and the Doffer crease. Probably should do another bamboo order, but I keep thinking, let's wait until the new year. Got less than 3 months left. Run out of a couple of colors, but I don't know. Okay, so I've pressed it back in here on the Doffer crease. So that it doesn't get caught when it goes past the liquor. And then here, I'm just going to grab, there's a tiny little bit of pink fuzz. I'll put that in the bag over here. That clearly didn't come out when I cleaned Life of a Showgirl off of here. Okay. There's another bit of pink fuzz. Actually, that's a little bit of VM. CVM, you pull it out. VM stands for vegetable matter. Because we're talking about animals like sheep. And they are messy. Okay. There we go. It's a little more subtle than some of the other ones I do, but you get some of the contrast. Okay. Oh, and fiber flying around. Oh, yeah. Okay, so if you want to guess how much you think this weighs, this is the time to do it. Tear that out. I'm just going to roll this. You see the light blue on the back. Okay, drum roll, please. Grab a piece of paper and my pen. It is, not wanting to sell it now, it is 2.77 ounces. Okay. Oh, that looked nice from the side. See all the layers there. Yay! Okay, so I will take some photos of this and put it up in the group. Like I said, next hour I got to come up with a name for it. So if you got an idea, put it down there. Otherwise, I'll probably just randomly name it after something. I don't know if I have a theme for this month or not. So the group theme is sustainability. I can't really, I'm not riffing on that for bat names. So since I did do Life of a Showgirl as a recent bat, I might do, and I still have a few book title ones from last month, but I might do, maybe I'll do album titles, something like that. Clearly not Dark Side of the Moon. But yeah, otherwise, have a lovely, lovely day. The next day or two, I will download this and also put it up on YouTube. So, you all take care, and I'll see you around on social media.